and speed enthusiasts.
Today we'll review the activity in the 9-second motorcycle category, the fastest in the third edition of the Christmas Cup quarter-mile drags in Barranquilla 2024.
We begin by reviewing the best qualifying runs with a duel between the Suzuki GSX-R1000 ridden by Dan Monsalve and Steven Rivera.
Steven Rivera, on his Suzuki, sets an initial time of 9.517 seconds, followed by Dan Monsalve's Suzuki GSX-R1000, with a time of 9.746 seconds.
Next, Dan Monsalve on his Suzuki GSX-R1000 goes up against Edward Manzano's Suzuki GSX-R1000.
On his Suzuki GSX-R1000, improves by 0.102 seconds over his previous time. However, he falls to third place as Edward Manzano, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, records a time of 9.526 seconds, taking second place.
Now, it's Wilson Penzo, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, versus Edward Manzano, also on his Suzuki GSX-R1000.
On his Suzuki GSX-R1000, clocks a time of 9.874 seconds, securing fourth place. Meanwhile, Edward Manzano, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, takes the lead with a time of 9.480 seconds.
Next up is Ricardo Ramirez on his Kawasaki ZH2.
Ricardo Ramirez, on his Kawasaki ZH2, records a time of 10.002 seconds, coming very close to entering the 9-second category.
Following this, Wilson Penzo and Dan Monsalve face off on the Suzuki GSX-R1000S.
on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, fails to improve on his previous time. Meanwhile, Dan Monsalve, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, clocks a time of 9.481 seconds, moving from third to second place, just 1,000th of a second behind the leader.
Next, Steven Rivera and Edward Manzano go head-to-head on the Suzuki GSX-R1000S.
On his Suzuki GSX-R1000, does not improve on his previous time but stays within the same tenth of a second. Meanwhile, Edward Manzano, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, improves by 0.033 seconds over his previous time, solidifying his position as the leader of the board.
Then, Wilson Penzo, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, faces Steven Rivera's Suzuki GSX-R1000.
On his Suzuki GSX-R1000, improves his previous time with a 9.715-second run. However, it's not enough to climb the rankings. Meanwhile, Steven Rivera, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, clocks a time of 9.409 seconds, moving from third to first place in the standings.
Next, Ricardo Ramirez, on his Kawasaki ZH2, makes a new run.
Ricardo Ramirez, on his Kawasaki ZH2, records a time of 9.710 seconds, securing the fourth position in the standings.
Then, Wilson Penzo, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, faces Steven Rivera, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000.
Rivera, on his Suzuki GSX, does not improve his previous time.
Meanwhile, Wilson Penzo, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, does improve his previous record with a time of 9.685 seconds, moving from 5th to 4th place.
Next, Edward Manzano, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, makes a solo run.
Edward Manzano, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, improves his previous time by 0.02 of a second, maintaining his second position.
Now, Dan Monsalve, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, steps up for a new run.
With a a time of 9.357 seconds, Dan Monsalve, on his Suzuki GSXR1000, moves from third to first place on the leaderboard.
Finally, closing the qualifying sessions, Steven Rivera, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, makes his run.
Steven Rivera, on his Suzuki GSX, improves his previous time, clocking 9.354 seconds, taking the first position by a margin of just 0.03 of a second over Dan Monsalve.
Thus, the qualifying sessions come to an end, and we now move on to the final duels. The first duel was to be between Wilson Penzo, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, and Ricardo Ramirez, on his Kawasaki ZH2. However, the latter does not show up and is disqualified.
As a result, Wilson Penzo, on his Suzuki, advances to the next round, where he will face Edward Manzano's Suzuki GSX-R1000.
If you're enjoying the video, please support us with a like.
Edward Manzano, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, false starts and subsequently abandons the race, giving an easy victory to Wilson Penzo, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000. He will now face Dan Monsalve's Suzuki GSX-R1000.
Subscribe and hit the notification bell, so you don't miss our upcoming videos.
The victory goes to Dan Monsalve, on his Suzuki GSX-R1000, securing a spot in the final, where he will face Steven Rivera's Suzuki GSX-R1000 in a duel between the two fastest motorcycles of the event.
on his Suzuki GSXR1000, earning him the Champions Trophy in the 9-second motorcycle category of this Christmas Cup quarter-mile drags Barranquilla. Congratulations to him and his team.
On the other hand, Edward Manzano, on his Suzuki GSXR1000, is crowned the champion of the 9-second motorcycle category of the 2024 quarter-mile drags Barranquilla Championship. Congratulations to him and his team!
We've reached the end. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more content. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.